Today's devotional is entitled The Opposite of Anger. There is something that everyone has. It doesn't matter your gender, your race, or anything that has to do with you. You have it, and I have it. And it's something that is so contagious that it can spread like wildfire and to destroy everything in front of it. And this thing is something that could take years to repair and fix. And some could even say it's a disease, that other people are entitled to it, and that the world has kind of made them this way. And to succeed in life, they must harness this to put them ahead of everyone else. And you will even get people that want to emulate you and look up to you and do what you did, and this cycle will continue. We all have anger, a trait that can spread through a room faster than a virus. And just like a virus, though, it can destroy and kill. Anger is addictive and powerful. Anger directed in the right area, though, can produce much work out of people and can motivate people to do things and even make them more efficient. Anger can take a person that was carefree and happy and turn them into the shell of a person that they were before anger got a hold of them. You'll even get people that go to therapy sessions, listen to self-help tapes or recordings. Tapes don't exist anymore. And they're even learn new ways to manage this anger. See, even the Bible tells us what to do with anger and what we have to do to manage it. We see in James chapter 1, verse 19 and 20, it says, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger, for the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God." Here, James tells us exactly what we need to do with our anger: to be quicker to listen than to get angry. Well, what is the opposite of anger? What can we do to counteract the effects of anger? Well, if we go to the fruits of the Spirit, I would have to say it's kindness. When we replace anger with kindness, we're able to do what James says, to be quick to listen and slow to get angry. That then we're able to accomplish so much more when we change our mindset, and we are able to go into every single situation in our lives with that mindset changed of switching from anger to kindness. See, Paul says in Colossians chapter 3, verse 12, "Put on then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience." You see, here it's funny that Paul doesn't even mention anger at all, because each one of us have argued that a little bit of anger can steer a conversation and a situation back to good. That a little bit of anger interjected into a conversation or into a moment can spark people to get back on track to where they were before. That if we interject just little quick jabs of anger into a moment, that we can redirect those moments that we lost control to bring back more happiness. It's kind of an interesting concept, but it happens so often. But when we replace kindness with anger, there's a few things that are going to happen. Number one, we start to embrace a new way of living. You see, this world is ruled by anger and deceit, and we see it everywhere we go. But when we show kindness, we're able to pull back the veil of anger and replace it with kindness. And we see in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31 and 32, "Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you." You see, just as God is able to forgive all, we are to do the same. And when we do that, we're able to embrace a new way of living. And number two, we find ways to lift people up instead of tearing them down. And too many times in our lives, we respond in the same manner in which we are spoken to. And we find times that we wish we could just tear a person down to teach them a lesson, or for these people to find humility in the situations. But this is not our place as Christians. we are to respond in a different tone, in a different mindset than those around us. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29, Paul says, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear." And see, whether you are a Christian or not, whether you follow Christ or not, your way you respond to people shows so much of the character of who you are. And it's our response to these situations should reflect that of a Christian. But if it's not good, we shouldn't be saying it. When Paul says no corrupting talk come out of your mouth, not just a little bit, not just, when you feel like the moment needs it, when you're trying to redirect situations. No, absolutely none. You're only supposed to use words that are used to build up, that fits the occasion that you're in. And number 3, a smile goes a long way. You see a person at your work, in public, in your family, that has a smile on their face all the time. And when you think about them, what does it tend to make you do? It tends to make you kind of want to smile because you see the joy in that person. In Proverbs chapter 29, verse 11, it says, "A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back." Guys, a smile is just as effective as words in the situation, and many times they supersede words. When out of our mouths come deceit, a smile can give you so much more of a handle and an anchor on a situation. When words fail, or simply want to make you want to tear somebody down, just smile. You see, when we start to embrace a new way of living by replacing kindness with anger, or with replacing anger with kindness. No, I said it the other way. I'm sorry. When we put kindness in our lives instead of anger, we're able to lift people up instead of tearing them down. And we're able to make sure that a smile goes a long way. You see, kindness is the fruit of the Spirit because it comes directly from the Father. He was kind enough to give us green pastures and still waters in our lives. And see, even God provides us with blessings in our lives because of his kindness. And I feel as though kindness is the opposite of anger, and it's something that we all need to replace in our lives, not only from time to time, but in all aspects of our lives. And see, Isaiah 54, verse 8 says, "In overflowing anger for a moment, I hid my face from you, but with everlasting love I will have compassion on you, says the Lord your Redeemer." You see, we may have anger for a moment, and if we let it fester and stew, the opportunity to be kind to someone is going to go away. But we can't let that happen. Back in 2020, we talked about one word that was the overarching idea of 2020: contagious. Anger is more contagious than any virus. It can tear a room to pieces and destroy lives faster than a virus can. But kindness, replacing that anger, interjects new life into a room and new life into people, and gives you opportunities to share the love of God to somebody that so desperately needs it. Your character matters, and when you respond in anger, people automatically assume that's who you are. Guys, that is our devotional for today. The opposite of anger.